When I thought of doing a medical podcast, I was trying to rehearsal a lot of lines that I hope I don't mess up things while speaking, giving an introduction. But then I lost my words. The words are just flowing today. One day when I woke up, somebody was extremely close to me. I used to tie him a rakhi. I met him through the COVID times. He had passed me a contact of a person today I'm going to interview and told, Naimisha, please get in touch with him. He will help you out for hospitals and emergencies in Delhi. This person was a brother to me. I loved him dearly. Until one day, last year, I woke up to the news that he passed away in heart attack. I didn't have words. He was just 27. And today, I'm interviewing that person whom he looked up to, he admired. This person is not a new name. If you're from Delhi, then I'm very sure you would have come across him. Dr. Sachin Bajaj is that name you get through, Sir, hospital चाहिए. Sir, patient की emergency है. That one person who changes that narrative that medical system is not entirely commercialized. There are people come out to help people, who serve people, who still see that the entire journey of what they are doing, being a doctor, is one of the profession where you are serving people than just earning money. This person is someone I immensely respect and someone my brother Sushir Hegde looked up to. Namaste, sir. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Nemisha ji, for having me, and thank you for your kind words. Sushil was a brother to me as well, and that's what we were just discussing before we sat down here. That health and life is so unexpectedly you can lose people. So I hope really all of us take care of our health, and hopefully we'll have a good chat today.
So before we started we're sitting here and you just mentioned about how even during the pandemic, you had lost your own dear and close ones due to heart attack and so many other places. Don't you think the recent trend that we see, a lot cases are rising of heart attack, cancer, pre-diabetics, and especially post-COVID? What is the reason for this?
Uh, I mean, it's a very difficult question to answer. One thing is very clear that the number of unexpected deaths are rising, the number of young deaths are rising. Is it something to do with past COVID infections? We don't really know yet because as doctors, we always work on evidence based practice. So we need to have some evidence to correlate two things, right? And correlation is not causation. So even if you have some correlation, it doesn't really mean that it is due to that. But the fact is that more and more of us are leading stressful lives. We are rushing from one place to another. We don't have healthy diets anymore. वो घर का माँ का खाना तो गायब हो चुका है बिकॉज मम्मी भी काम कर रही हैं शी इज़ ऑल्सो बिजी शी इज़ ऑल्सो रशिंग टू हर ऑफिस इन द मॉर्निंग शी हैज़ नो टाइम so we are all eating out, eating unhealthy food, having a lot of stress. So it's leading to a mixture of poor mental and physical health, which is obviously going to cause great harm to you as age progresses. Earlier, we would expect this harm to come at 40s or 50s or 60s. But now we are seeing it coming much sooner. As you said, 27. I have seen the youngest heart attack I have seen was a 13-year-old boy. So these things, I think, are rising very, very rapidly. It's a very worrying trend. And all of us need to reset, pay lesser attention to your work, pay more attention to your health, get less stressed, and work more on yourself rather than on something else.
You just told about it's mostly the work thing and घर का खाना नहीं मिलता because Ma is also rushing for work. Uh, Without naming, even Lawson and Tobit, the chairperson came up and he made a very controversial statement. Weekend पे भी घर में बैठ के अपनी बीवी का शक्ल थोड़ी ना देखोगे. Mr. Murthy came up and told to work for 70 hours a week. And then in between that, I see a lot of young generation is not involved in sports. They're not involved in like पहले जैसे कि कबड्डी खेल लो यार कुछ कर लो. They were not that frequent as much as we are falling sick right now. And including the new trends of keto diet, intermittent, and I'm one among them though, intermittent fasting and all this. How do you think this lifestyle, diet and exercise can actually help out?
Our whole life is about diet and exercise. Your kitchen is your biggest pharmacy. and the playground is your biggest physiotherapy center. If you can eat healthy, play regularly, exercise regularly, then you don't really need any doctor. The faster you run, I think the more you're running away from doctors, is what I feel. If you don't run, then we'll come and catch you with and feed you some pills that, ye goli kha lo agar nahi bhag rahe ho. There's this famous saying, no, that I'm doctor, I'm fat because obesity runs in our family. No, it's genetic. So I tell everyone, no, no, it's because nobody runs in your family. That's why there
Yeah.
is obesity. You all have to run. So भागना तो पड़ेगा, खेलना पड़ेगा. There is this immense need of a drastic life change. This all this online games, computers. Even my kids don't go out of their rooms at all. हमारे माँ बाप हमें मारते थे कि घर चलो बस हो गया खेलना. हम उनको मारते बाहर निकलो कुछ खेल लो, because they don't want to leave their houses. They're so engrossed in all their gadgets around them, all the time. All their friends are also online. So this lack of human to human interaction, this lack of physical exercise, and this whole stressful environment resulting from it is something that we really need to be careful about, because otherwise it will lead to a large epidemic of diseases like diabetes, hypertension, and unexpected deaths coming in the future.
So when we talk about, a diet specifically, because a lot of people are very confused. Some say go for a keto diet. Some say go for 7 p.m. से पहले खाना खा लेना चाहिए. Breakfast करो पर lunch मत करो तो dinner मत करो. It's very confusing. How, as a doctor, do you think that I can work around my diet to have a healthy lifestyle?
See, a diet is also very specific to every human, so we can't generalize things. But what I can say, some specific principles is, think of what our ancestors used to do or our elders used to do, and then try and replicate it as closely as possible. So my advice to most of my patients is, if you want to eat something, just imagine आपकी दादी खाती थी कि नहीं. अगर खाती थी तो खा लो, no problem. If your dadi didn't have this, then you should think 10 times whether I really need to have this or not. So all processed foods that are made
Burger.
in factories, है ना, वो पहले नहीं आते थे ना हमारी लाइफ में. There was no processed food at all. Chips, biscuits, rus, fan, all of these things are made in factories. Also, if you closely go back, the farmers used to wake up very early morning before dawn and used to go straight to work in the fields. Then their wives would wake up, feed the kids, feed the elders. Then they would pack their lunches and reach them around 10, 10:30 or 11 in the morning, where they would have the first meal. And then they would be back in the house before sunset and have their dinner and go to sleep. So usually they used to have two meals at around 8, 7, 8, 9 hours intervals, and rest of the time they were fasting and exercising a lot. So the more you eat frequently, we've been fed on this, diet of small frequent meals, have small frequent meals. But every time you have a meal, your insulin levels do spike. And insulin is a weight gain promoting hormone. Every time your insulin goes up, you have a tendency to gain weight. So there is some scientific basis to this intermittent dieting that you are also following. I have also tried to follow sometimes. But again, as I said, every diet is very specific, and sometimes suits some people, sometimes doesn't suit some people at all. So do try, but if it doesn't suit you, if you feel you're not healthy, if you feel you're getting irritable, especially in keto diets, it happens a lot because carbohydrates are important for your mental health as well, mental well-being. They make you happy, right? Whenever you have
Yeah.
sweets, you are happy. Whenever you are unhappy or sad and crying, you
Sugar
love that
rush.
ice cream, or you love to eat chocolate. So cutting out carbohydrates entirely sometimes leads to some mental health issues in people, right? They may become cranky or irritable or not very happy. So if that happens, you should really prioritize mental health over physical health, right? Mental health is much more important than physical health. We've all seen Stephen Hawking, right? He was on a ventilator for most of his life, but his mental health was so strong that he made such a big difference to the world. If he was very healthy physically and a bodybuilder but had no mental acumen, I don't think he would have made such a name for himself. So we should always prioritize mental health. If you're happy doing something, the results will be much better. If you are doing it under duress, with stress, then the side effects or the bad effects are much more than the beneficial effects. And
So
always, as a caveat, do consult your family physician before starting on any of this. Please do
even
that.
for the diets.
Anything. I mean, you
Okay.
should have a very, very strong relationship with your GP or a family physician. I mean, you should treat them as a member of the
Yeah.
family. That's why their name is a family physician, and you should talk to them about everything. They should know each and everything what is happening in your life. It's difficult to find such doctors, but if you do, then you're really lucky.
Now I think it makes a lot of sense. Like my family doctor has been there for almost 35 years, and that has not been even my own age. And I once walked into him, and when I was in Odisha, and I told him, I told my mom that I need to go to a better hospital. I need to go to a better doctor. He's so old right now. With all due respect, I'm not feeling well. It can be a heart attack. It can be anything. I think post COVID, I became very paranoid about things. My mom is like, go with him, and my mom sent me, and he's like, कुछ नहीं हुआ है तुम्हें एसिडिटी हुआ है तुम्हारी फैमिली में सबको एसिडिटी होता रहता है एंड आई एम लाइक व्हाट एंड देन आफ्टर टेकिंग दैट पैंडी आई वाज टोटally fine, so it was not a heart attack and I'm very much alive.
Yeah, exactly. Because he knew your family, he knew your eating habits, he knew where you live. Those are
Yeah.
some of the most important things to make a diagnosis. That's how you take a full history of the patient. Where are you from? What is your ethnicity? What is your family history? Is somebody in your family suffering from these diseases? Unfortunately, with all this big hospital culture coming up and all
You
super
have one.
specialists everywhere,
We have
see,
super specialty too.
my day job is running hospitals and providing tertiary emergency care like heart attacks or head injuries. But at my heart, I am totally a preventive and primary care physician. I like to prevent diseases. I like to prevent people from falling sick because if you have a heart attack, it's your half your health is already gone. I may treat you after that, but doesn't really make a difference. And we have 23 hospitals now, and every time I set up a hospital, which are all in small towns, and in each hospital we do provide super specialty services because we want to prevent people from dying on the road. And we set up this heart center with this modern cath lab and eco machines and diagnostics and therapeutics. So the whole town usually gathers, right? And because this is the first time they're seeing such a facility, and I ask them the same question every time: do you want to have a heart attack and be treated very well by our cardiologist who's sitting there with this fancy German machine that we've installed there? Or do you not want to have a heart attack at all? Unsurprisingly, the answer is always no, no, we don't want that heart attack. But who's working for it? Who's really coaching you? Who's telling you what diet to take? Who's telling you what to exercise? Who's telling you, is it a heart disease coming up or not? That's your family physician, right? So you really need to have a good family physician working with you throughout your life who knows your body and who will treat you accordingly.
So getting into heart attack, I think this will be my last question on heart attack because a lot Indians, I think, even I am one among those Indians, but now I become a bit careful. But I still see that happening in my family, which be like even if there's slight symptoms of a heart attack, my mother would say it's a gastric, it's an acidity. My father would say, oh, I'm just work stress. And that is how I have lost my own grandmother in a heart attack. That is the most unfortunate thing it could happen. And we thought that maybe she's having a gas. And we did not know. I did not know that there can be things that she went to the washroom, and washroom में सबसे ज़्यादा heart attack होता है. Like recently, there's saloon syndrome. People go for a hair wash and they're getting a sudden heart attack. And just few days ago, he was around and he was having an anxiety, and I thought he's having a heart attack. And I'm asking him, "Do you need something?" Acha, but I don't know how to treat a heart attack or something. What are the signs, early signs of a heart attack? And is there a method to prevent it or take, like, not prevent? I don't understand, but mostly, is there a way to get through this that you take early steps to stay away from a heart attack?
So, heart attack symptoms are very easily confused with acidity, gas, anxiety, ghabrahat, because all of these come when you are having a heart attack. The biggest symptom, of course, is severe anxiety and fear of death. The body knows that this is a big thing coming, so the patient will be really afraid of what's coming and will express that there is a fear of death coming up. If somebody says that, please take it very seriously. Don't just dismiss it as anxiety. If you have a chest pain that's really localized, like this is my chest pain, then it's very unlikely to be a heart attack. It can be, I'm not saying it's not, but unlikely to be. Usually, heart attack pains are very generalized. The patient will have their hand like this. मुझे यहाँ दर्द हो रहा है. Sometimes they will say मेरे को ऐसा लग रहा है हाथी ने मेरे ऊपर पैर रख दिया है. इतना भारीपन हो रहा है. So all this, if it is radiating to your arm, if it is radiating to your neck, those are signs that it can be a heart attack. But again, sometimes symptoms are very subtle, especially in diabetics. Diabetic patients को दर्द होता ही नहीं है because their pain nerves are all gone. इसीलिए उनके पैरों में भी छाले पड़ जाते हैं, अल्सर्स हो जाते हैं. So diabetics में you may not have any pain at all, right? It may just be feeling of slight anxiety, पसीने आ रहे हैं, घबराहट हो रही है, all that. So an ECG is the only sure shot way to diagnose a heart attack. उसके अलावा कुछ नहीं हमारे पास, ठीक है. ECG करना ही चाहिए, लेकिन उससे पहले हमेशा all of us should keep in our pockets, easily accessible in the house, easily accessible in the car, and easily accessible in the office, 2 tablets. One is called Sorbitrate and one is aspirin. So if you feel that there is a symptom of a heart attack, especially in an age group which you feel vulnerable, उनको एक एस्पिरिन चबाने को दे दीजिए. जस्ट आस्क देम टू च्यू द टैबलेट, और एक सॉर्बिट्रेट जीभ के नीचे रख दीजिए. जस्ट पुट इट अंडर द टंग एंड देन rush them to the nearest hospital where an ECG can be done and a diagnosis can be made. These 2 tablets will not do you any harm but can save your life if a heart attack is really occurring. Also,
in any age group.
in any age group. कोई harm नहीं है इनको देने में. Also, if the patient has collapsed and you feel they are not breathing, if you feel that the patient is really gasping for breath, every one of us should know CPR. So those classes are mandatory to attend for everyone. Please वो मत करिए जैसे the most unfortunate thing I've seen is the ex-president of India, Dr. Abdul Kalam Azad, collapsing on stage with a heart attack. And his security detail and team, वो उनके पैर मसल रही थी. There was no CPR happening for the ex-president of India. So that is the level of ignorance in our society. So we all need to learn CPR. पैर मसलने से कुछ नहीं होता है, पेशेंट को कुछ नहीं बचा पाओगे आप, ठीक है. तो CPR आना ही चाहिए, सबको आना चाहिए. You must all go and attend BLS, Basic Life Support classes. सिर्फ 4 से 6 घंटे का होता है and mostly free है, available everywhere. So if you go and attend BLS, you will learn all of these things.
BLS. Don't you think that, maybe the government should also, because you have been working, especially when you told right now that in primary healthcare and tertiary healthcare, you have been in the lower strata, especially in the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And I've been knowing about the work that you have been doing. Don't you think that our health policies also need to be revamped to a large extent? Like, while we are debating about Ayushman Bharat and so many other things, why are the basic things not somewhere in our health curriculum? Like, बच्चा पहले, like जब बड़ा होता है, the child knows trigonometry is not going to save my life. Reading about William Shakespeare is not going to save my life. Why are we not taught? We are taught moral science, but not basic science of how to give be it be a CPR or be what are the symptoms of this, including to that extent when people don't talk about the period pain or something. This is a very essential thing. Don't you think our health system, our public health curriculum, and from the academic type needs a very big revamp?
I think you should be our education minister. I will vote for you.
I'm taking this as a compliment. The next education minister is here.
Yes. No, I totally agree with you. I mean, I've been advocating for this with the government for a very long time, that BLS should be made compulsory for each and every student in school, in college, and we should have regular refresher courses. So this is something that needs to be done on a very, very large scale. We do it in our hospitals a lot. We do it for first responders a lot. But unfortunately, when I was in MBBS, as an MBBS student, I was not taught BLS. So I learned BLS for the first time, basic life support, when I went into internship. So these are some of the things that I strongly feel that I totally agree with you. Whatever you've said, I'm voting for you this election for sure.
I'm contesting one.
Yeah.
But I think you should be the one in that space. And I'll come down for your campaign.
I'm not a politician at all, fortunately.
Oh, we have seen really great doctors becoming politicians, like Buddhadev Bhattacharya from Bengal, and he had this trademark of sitting there with patients, like going to the CM office. He was sitting in the local places in the slums and treating. And if I get such doctors contesting elections, I'll close my eyes. Party जाए किसी side, vote तो इन्हें ही देना है.
चलिए नेक्स्ट इलेक्शन में हम दोबारा मिलेंगे, फिर बात करेंगे. आप लड़ रहे हो या मैं लड़ रहा हूँ, देखते
You will be contesting, and Youthocracy will be taking the campaign coordination for that. So you mentioned at one point कि अभी हमें बच्चों को, आप अपने बच्चों को मार पीट के बोल रहे हो कि यार बाहर जाओ. आपके टाइम पे बोला जाता था कि हो गया. आई ऑल्सो बिलोंग टू दैट, लाइक आई रिमेंबर दैट इंसिडेंट जहाँ पे मैं टेबल पे चेयर डाल के घड़ी का साइड बदलती थी ताकि 4 बज के मैं खेलने जाऊँगी. एंड आई एम स्टिल दैट पर्सन. I see my younger generation and the kind of life, without any moral judgments, it's more about the lifestyle judgment that I'm doing here. There may be hardly 17, 18, 19, and I'm just saying them, what are you doing this weekend? I'm like, maybe planning for a swimming or something. They're like, we are house partying with our friends. And the house partying doesn't include just, music and dance, because that is also cool about it. You go and dance. At 17, 18, early consumption of alcohol. And again, without making any moral judgment, I'm talking about the health adversities here, because also about sugar. Sugar is known as a very slow poison. And alcohol ho gaya ya sugar ho gaya is one of the most rampant thing among the young generation right now. How do you see this, and what is the alternative to this? And what are the dangers to it is the first way.
Huge dangers. So sugar, smoking, sitting, 3 S's, pure poison. There's no way that you should be doing any of this. Alcohol in moderation, maybe, but it's not really advisable. But definitely not advisable for a 17 or an 18-year-old. There's a reason why the Delhi government says you can't drink below 25. But below 21 should be an absolute no-no for anyone. Alcohol really kills your brain cells, makes you dull, makes you, not bright, makes you not smart, not
Dehradun
intelligent.
incident,
Anji?
the Dehradun road accident.
Yeah. It's so scary. And we've seen it many times. See, I've been during my trainings, we used to sit in the emergencies a lot. Used to see a lot of road accidents coming in, and due to drunk driving. I mean, cuts short your life, makes you really stupid. That I mean, if you're at a steering wheel after having drinks, I think you should be tried for murder for sure.
Absolutely.
Every time. And I mean, if you cause an accident, it should be a murder charge against you. Unfortunately, we don't have that yet. But alcohol is something that young people should try to avoid as much as possible. There is a trend in the Western societies now. There was a newspaper article just yesterday about this as well, on how in the Western societies in Europe and US, young people are increasingly choosing zero alcohol beer as their drink of choice. So I hope that's an encouraging trend. I hope that comes to India as well. But India right now, we're seeing a right almost an epidemic of alcohol usage, even drug usage in early years. We've seen a lot of young patients coming to us with these issues. So my advice would be to stay as far away from these things as possible. And sugar, smoking, sitting, absolutely poisons for you. Alcohol as well, not good for you at all. Go for healthy options. Partying, as Namisha said, should be more about dancing and enjoying or playing games together, having a sporting competition, have a football competition or a pickleball, or go for tennis games or badminton. I know of someone who's met a very special person over badminton. So those are some of the things that you find better people as well, right? You don't want to be at an alcoholic drunk party and meeting the person you like, because he's going to be drunk the
You
rest
will
of his
puke
life.
on them.
Yeah, so maybe you can puke on them as well.
So my point is, I don't drink, but because I've been in Delhi, I don't drink. Again, there's no moral judgment to it. I sit with my friends who drink. My reason for not drinking is also I'm someone who is very particular about my health. I'm a pure vegetarian. I like having clean food. That doesn't mean that I don't take junk food. That is where also I wanted to help out a lot of people here. Uh, being a practitioner of yoga for a long time, I've seen that people say that only eat Ayurveda and all that. Then there are a lot of people who say, pizza, pasta, ये वो लोग तो खाते हैं, उनका कुछ नहीं होता, हमारा क्यों हो जाएगा? अरे यार, उनका पास्ता एंड लाइफस्टाइल देखो, तुम्हारा लाइफस्टाइल देखो, तुम खा के तो बैठ जाते हो, तुम तो हिलते भी नहीं उस जगह से. I have a moderation. I eat chole bhature once in a year, and I don't crave for it either. I think after one age, your body doesn't crave for that food. I like my pasta, but I like having my neat, pasta with a lot of veggies. I like my Ayurveda food too. I'm a khichdi person. And then there is a concept of weight loss. I, I feel so heartbroken sharing this. I have a friend of mine who started starving herself. Like she would eat, maybe if she says that if I eat one piece of kaju, then I'll gain weight. And to that extent, we had to admit her in a hospital because at one point she couldn't walk or move. And she was like, I'll lose weight, I'll lose weight, I'll lose weight. And I don't think this is a way how they go about it, but then I'm not a medico. I don't understand the concept of how to go about a weight loss and where to balance out the food habits. Can you guide us a bit on that?
Everything in excess is unhealthy for you, right? A lot of weight loss is also unhealthy for you. And the disease that you explained about your friend, that is a disease called as anorexia nervosa. And that is a mental illness that a patient feels that, they look at themselves in the mirror as fat, even though they may be skinny to the bone, but to themselves they appear as fat and they want to keep losing weight further. There's a variant of this called bulimia as well, where you do eat, but then you vomit it out, with putting your fingers inside and you try to take everything out. In anorexia nervosa, you don't eat anything at all. These are mental health issues. Unfortunately, during my training days, I remember I've lost one patient of anorexia nervosa. She was a very young girl. She was admitted in a medical college for a very long time, improved a bit. We sent her home, but after that, her parents didn't bring her back and she died at home. And then I got to know about a year later that she had passed away. So these are serious illnesses. You did it very right that you got her admitted to a hospital. If you have any friends who are expressing such symptoms, you must, again I'm stressing this word, must consult them with your family physician or your doctor who knows your history, because sudden rapid weight loss can cause neurological issues, can cause a lot of health issues to you. So a stable weight is the best weight to be in. If you know that my weight fluctuates like this plus minus 2 kilos, that's the best way to win, as long as you feel healthy about it, as long as you're active, as long as you don't have any diseases, and as long as your family physician tells you that you have the right weight. All these things about BMIs, etc., they are slowly getting not really in the favor of scientific explanations, because everyone has a different body type. You may be very lean and not healthy, and you may be slightly obese but very healthy. So being lean is not equal to being healthy, as you've seen with your friend yourself. So my advice would be to be in moderation everywhere, like you do. छोले भटूरे खाओ, लेकिन कभी कभी खाओ, छुट्टी के दिन खाओ. पराठे रोज नहीं खाने हैं, ठीक है? Act in moderation. Don't go overboard either ways. Don't be a glutton, but don't be starving yourself to death as well.
So, there is one specific health issue that I am very scared of because I see every single person, every single girl I meet these days have been facing that PCOS and PCOD. I haven't met, I think, maybe hardly one or two friends who are not suffering that because 90% of the women I know, they are having PCOS or PCOD. And because of that was the only reason I become a bit very skeptical. I'm very skeptical. So every time I have a delayed periods or something, I'm like, oh my God, I got PCOS. Oh my God, I got PCOD. कुछ ना कुछ तो हो ही गया. The number of times I went to a gynec by saying, मुझे तो PCOS हो ही गया है. And because there is also not enough research studies on saying that is there a preventive method for that and how it happens apart from the lifestyle. There's only one blanket cover, that's lifestyle changes. And also to the second extent, I want you to explain us this thing. When I told this to my auntie had told, ये सब तुम्हारे नए जनरेशन के नखरे हैं, हमारे टाइम पे तो नहीं होता था. क्यों? क्योंकि हम शादी कर लेते थे 25 साल में. I mean, that did not make sense to me, but must be some scientific backing which I don't know. Can you explain us on that a bit?
As you yourself have said, PCOS is clearly mostly related to lifestyle. I mean, there is some genetics involved as well in it. But if you gain weight a lot, if you eat unhealthy, have a carbohydrate rich diet, live in a lot of stress, those are all factors that can lead to PCOS. And PCOS will then amplify all these factors a lot, because PCOS itself will make you gain weight. You will have a lot of hair growth, which you will lead to stress. Then you will have delayed or irregular periods, which will again lead to stress. So it goes into a vicious cycle, right? With the stress, your PCOS increases. With PCOS increasing, your stress increases. So it's a never ending cycle and you keep going down. So the way to prevent it is to lead a healthier life choices, have a healthier diet, try to lose weight, and go to your doctor, take the medicines that they are prescribing. I don't think there is any scientific evidence to having early sexual intercourse with preventing PCOS. Early sexual intercourse does lead to cervical cancer, by the way. So I don't think there's any evidence that if you get married early or have intercourse early will lead to prevention of PCOS. But let me study that and get back to you. But right now, it's not on the top of my head.
Including when we talk about cervical cancer, the HPV vaccine, and uh, I think it's very much new in trend, and not like if I tell my mother that I don't think she's eligible for HPV vaccine either, and to that extent that even I haven't well read about HPV vaccine. It's just that we were leading a campaign, so I was aware about this is happening. But like the basic vaccines that I think we used to take was one for TB or something. कुछ एक यहाँ पे
BCG.
दिया जाता था.
TB की BCG.
That was TB and one polio.
टेटनस, DPT.
बचपन में जो दिया गया
जी
होता
जी
है.
MMR बहुत सारी मिली हैं आपको. वो आपकी मम्मी ने लगवाई ना, तो आपको याद नहीं है.
But then there are basic things which I tell my parents. Those were obvious thing. Now if I tell my mom for an HPV vaccine, she would be like, मुझे नहीं चाहिए. I know my best friend. He didn't go for a COVID vaccine. He was like, मुझे कुछ नहीं होगा, I'll be fine. Rahul did not go for a COVID vaccine. And my father, I had to push him for a COVID vaccine. I had to beg him, push him. I remember an extent where I told him that if you don't go get yourself vaccinated, I will call the police and say that you are the super spreader. I think that happens when you are in the front line and helping out thing. And I think you would have seen much more than us. But जो basic होता है ना सर कि go for a regular health checkup or something, is it essential? And why am I asking this? Because with the rise of Practo, where everything, you go for a digital checkup. And I still do not understand how, like, मुझे तो याद है doctor asking me with this light and saying, karo, muh kholo and karo. How would they do that? And when you are leading a hospital, don't you think Practo is also being a threat to the entire medical business system? And how far it is genuine?
So we'll go turn by turn.
Yes.
HPV vaccines, I strongly urge everyone to go and get it. Best to get it before you've had any kind of sexual intercourse, because human papilloma virus spreads through sexual intercourse and can lead to cancer. India has a very high prevalence of cervical cancer. So please do get HPV vaccines. All boys and girls should get it for sure. There is no doubt in my mind that HPV vaccine is good for everyone, preferably before you have your first sexual intercourse. But at any time, if you haven't had it, you should take it. Second question was about health checkups. So, health checkup is a good thing to do, but what we are doing in the name of health checkups today is getting a 50-page blood report with like 2000 tests that have been done, and then sending it to your doctor on WhatsApp saying, Doctor Sahab, please check kar lo ye.
I've sent it to
Imagine
you.
the poor guy's plight, right? He's getting 20 such 200 pages reports every day, and then the patients, because most of them are friends also, are very unhappy that अरे बताते ही नहीं है, ये तो कुछ इतना 200 पेज बेचारा फोन में देख देख के पढ़ रहा है. But strongly, this is not needed. This is an overkill, right? I mean, if you're getting 200 tests in the name of a preventive health checkup, it's not needed at all. A preventive health checkup is exactly what you had described it as. Go to your family physician every year, ask him or her to have a look at you. If you are a woman, do your breast self exam every 6 months. If you're a man, look at all your body thoroughly in a mirror, or a woman as well. If you have any new moles or any new pigmentation or any changes in your skin, if your hair are falling out much faster than you expect, if your nails are getting brittle, if your tongue is changing color, these are the things that is a what a general health checkup really is, and your general physician can easily look at it in a 10-minute exam. And based on that exam, if she advises you some tests, please do get them done, of course. But do not go for a 200 test package randomly. It's not needed at all.
But
There's
the
no need for it.
basics like CBC and
Only if your doctor prescribes it. Only if your doctor prescribes it. I
okay.
can actually look at your hemoglobin levels from here. So, I don't really need to get anybody hemoglobin test done usually. So, the third is about Practo and what it is doing. I feel it's a great um digital health tool, and all new businesses are. We have a brick and mortar kind of a work where we have hospitals, then we go village to village doing sehat chopals, but the reach of a brick and mortar network will always be limited by a lot of factors, money being one. How many hospitals can we set up, right? Needs money to set up a hospital, number of doctors, number of nurses, the place, the geography, everything is a limit. In digital there's no limit, right? Your podcast that we are speaking here, if we were to speak physically with a loudspeaker and sitting outside, maybe 100 people would have heard us. When you're campaigning for your election, maybe 10,000 people will hear you. But when we are on a podcast here, sitting here and transmitting this digitally, maybe a million people will see us. So Practo is leading that change, hopefully. And whenever you are a new player in any system, you have some issues coming up, right? That is acceptable. So Pristine came in, had some issues. Glamio came in, had some issues. There's a brilliant company that's come in, Medfo, which I know I've heard about, doing a lot of good work in villages and small towns for Ayushman beneficiaries, working with communities that we work with. So Aapka Doctor is one. A lot of Apna Doctor. I've heard a lot of companies, and they're all trying to do their best. So some issues will always creep up. I think it's for the government and the regulatory agencies to be really clear on what is allowed, what is not allowed. We as patients and doctors should be very clear what we are going for, what we are allowed to do, what we are not allowed to do. If all the stakeholders have clarity and there's no obfuscation of data, there's nobody trying to pull a fast one, there's no aim for profiteering, then I think digital is very good for everyone, because future is digital, right? We can't run away from it. We can't say that no, digital is not good for healthcare always has to be physical, always has to have a doctor patient interaction in the real world. I don't think that's sustainable in the future is all about digital, with AI coming up, with 5G coming up, 6G now
Extreme.
coming up. I don't think you'll be able to differentiate what's the real world and what's not anymore, because we have five senses, right? As long as you are in two senses, you are very clear whether this is real or not. Right? In the podcast, people will see us and hear us. They have two senses. They're very clear that we are seeing it on a screen, it's not real. If you get in a third sense, make it a 3D, becomes slightly confusing, right? There's this person standing in 3D. Is it real or not? We can maybe touch it and see, no, it's not there. But as soon as you bring a fourth sense in, either touch or smell, I mean, then it becomes very confusing. You can't really tell whether this is a real thing or not. If you have a 3D image and you can touch that image as well, how will you tell whether it's a digital image or a real image or a real person standing there? So the future is about to be there, and I don't think we can run away from it.
Sir, I just recently came across someone saying me that there are ways to increase lifespan, which I found it as very absurd. कि हाउ कैन यू इंक्रीज लाइफ स्पैन, ये तो यमराज भगवान के हाथ में, तुम्हारे हाथ में कहाँ से आ गए, बट द अदर पर्सन वाज अ डॉक्टर. सो आई वांट टू नो दिस, is there actually a way how people can work around and increase their life span?
Yeah. So Brian Johnson was in India recently.
Yeah.
He visited Bangalore. He's the person to say, I will never die. He has very clearly said, I will never die. I'm not very sure I agree with that. I mean, but it's not as absurd as we think. Lifespan is increasing. When we got independence, India had an average lifespan of 30. So now it's almost reaching 70 now. So we've already increased our lifespan by more than 2x in the last 75 years. So who's to say that we can't increase it by another 1.5x or so? So everybody will be living normally to the age of 100, right? Who's
Mostly
to say?
dada dadis used to.
Who's to say that you can't, right? So there's a lot of work on going on longevity, increasing your lifespan, making sure you live healthier. Till now, the only scientifically proven thing that has been done, and it was published in the Lancet, I think. I'll tell you the exact journal. And it's very interesting to see that we've been speaking about, kadha and natural therapies versus allopathic therapies and medicines. So it's very interesting how this only scientific proven piece of increasing lifespan, this experiment was done in mice, really correlates with our ancient traditional thinking. So scientists started cutting down calories of mice. So cutting down calories is the only scientific proven way to increase your lifespan, decreasing your calorie intake. But how much exactly? Because if you decrease it too less, so like your friend, you go into anorexia, then you die of starvation.
Salvation.
If you decrease it too little, then you don't really get the benefit. So the exact amount of calorie deficit that increased the lifespan maximum was 14%. Whatever you're having at baseline, if you cut your calories by 14%, you have the maximum lifespan increase. Now tell me, what is 14%? 14% is exactly 1 by 7.
Only.
1 by 7. We've
Yeah.
known this for years
Yeah.
or ages. 1 by 7. एक दिन तो उपवास करो हफ्ते में. बोला जाता ना किसी बहाने से करो, मंगलवार का
आज
उपवास करो,
एकादशी है.
सोमवार का उपवास करो. Fast once in a week. We have
Yeah.
that traditional wisdom for a very long time. So 14% is 1 by 7 only. So we know कि हमें पता है कि 7 दिन में से एक दिन नहीं खाओगे तो लाइफ बड़ा रहेगा, आपका लंबा लाइफ रहेगा. We've always known.
It's like a stomach detox.
Yeah, we always known. We don't know the calorie deficit 14% decrease करिए आप अपना. जी.
I think I'll definitely do this.
No, you already are very fit. I don't
I'm
think
going
you
to
need
advise
to.
to a lot of young girls to do Sola Somvar, and
हाँ, so
there are
double
health
benefit.
double benefits.
हाँ. आपका लाइफ भी बढ़ेगा, हस्बैंड भी मिल जाएगा, दोनों
सब
चीजें
कुछ हो जाएगा यार, ये करो. Now I think the reason people used to laugh at the amazing traditions that we have, like we eat Karwa Chauth. Today is an Ekadashi. I don't eat chawal on an Ekadashi. Now I can actually go and justify this by saying that I'm keeping myself on a carb deficit food because we don't eat rice on an Ekadashi. And that's a good detox for your body too.
Yeah, and both Navratris come exactly when, weather is changing. एक सर्दियों में आते हैं 7 दिन का उपवास, जब आपको 9 दिन का करना है. एक जब वेदर चेंज हो रहा होता है, जो अब आएंगे अप्रैल में, जब विंटर से समर हो रहा होता है.
Chaitra
So
Navratri.
that is also exactly during change of season when your body falls sick the most. सबसे ज़्यादा infections, जुखाम, बुखार सबको होता है ना, वेदर चेंज हो रहा है जी, चेंज ऑफ सीजन है इसलिए आप बीमार हो गए हो. So at that time, if you detox yourself, if you eat fruits, etc., don't take heavy items, then वो भी एक scientific method है to adapt your body to the incoming season.
How rich is the tradition and culture
I
that we
agree.
follow? But I'm coming to the last segment of this, that is the rapid fire.
Oh, okay.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to introduce you Dr. Sachin Bajaj, who is the new Health Minister of India. As the new Health Minister of India,
This is a fictional show now.
what are the 3 major health policies that you are going to bring?
As a health minister of India, I think the biggest change I'm going to bring is primary healthcare for all, preventive healthcare for all, which is free and at your doorstep. You can go to any clinic, access any digital profile, and we'll provide you primary healthcare. The government should be funding all of that instead of, I mean, building bigger hospitals is also good, but see, the cost of healthcare rises rapidly when you go into a hospital, right? So, I mean, we treat a lot of patients. Sorry, this is not rapid fire anymore, but
That's
I am really passionate about primary healthcare, as you know. So, a lot of patients come to us with, the gangrene of the foot or kidney failure. We know that the biggest reason for these things is diabetes, right? You develop gangrene of the foot or you go into kidney failure, biggest reason is diabetes. We are amputating one foot almost every 5 minutes in India due to diabetes. We have about 80 million diabetics in India right now. We know that one third of them will end up into kidney failure. So you come to hospital with diseases. I can be very happy and pat myself on the back that all our hospitals are very affordable and they're low cost and we are Ayushman Bharat champions and we'll treat you for free, right? We can say that. Yesterday only we had one patient that one of our common friends had sent to us to a hospital with gangrene of the foot and they had to amputate the foot. We can say we did it for free, very happy to do that. But did the money that we saved that patient, the patient was quoted about 3 lakh rupees somewhere else, did the money we saved that patient really was only 3 lakh rupees? The cost of the disease is much higher. Now, because you don't have a leg, you are in kidney failure, you're coming for dialysis twice a week, every time. You can't really go back to your factory or your fields to work where you used to work earlier. So, the future earnings that you've lost run into lakhs or crores of rupees, maybe. And the scariest cost is not this direct or indirect cost. The scariest cost is the intangible cost because now you are out of a job. You will pull your children out of school and start sending them to work. Somebody has to work.
cycle turns.
So one of my colleagues who drives me around a lot, we go together to many hospitals. So he used to tell me that till sixth he used to come first in races in school and mathematics. Two subjects he used to top every time. Then his father died suddenly. So his mother pulled him out of school and said, now you have to work because somebody has to earn money. So he started doing odd jobs, etc. Now he's driving a car. If his father had survived and he had kept studying, maybe he would have been doing something else in sports or mathematics. He would have been a professor or something else, engineer, who knows. So this big cost of the disease that we underestimate is huge, that we can't control our diabetes, which could have been controlled in say 100 rupee a month tablet, and then we see you only when you're complicated when you come to our hospital. As I said, not having the heart attack at all, controlling your diabetes in time is something that really is close to my heart. So primary healthcare, biggest initiative that I will have. Everyone will have health insurance. People should not be selling their houses or land to pay for treatment of illness. We don't know yet. We are sitting in this fancy room here, talking, but we forget that m- more than 25% of all admitted patients in India, whether they are admitted to a government hospital or a private hospital, have to either borrow money or sell some asset to pay for their healthcare cost.
Most
So
people.
that's a huge number, right? More than 6 crore people are slipping below the poverty line every year in India just due to healthcare cost. So having health insurance should be compulsory. I mean, it's crazy
Germany
that
has that.
so it's crazy that you can't take your car out without an insurance, right? चालान लगेगा आपको अगर आपने कार चला ली बिना इंश्योरेंस के, स्कूटर चला लिया बिना इंश्योरेंस के, आप बिना इंश्योरेंस के घूम रहे हैं, आपको कोई चालान नहीं है ना. योर बॉडी इज मच मोर प्रेशियस देन योर कार, है ना. अगर कोई एक्सीडेंट होता है तो लोग शुक्र मनाते हैं ना, अच्छा अच्छा सिर्फ कार टूटी, आप ठीक हो, बहुत अच्छा हुआ. बट इंश्योरेंस तो कार के लिए लेते हो, आप अपने लिए नहीं लेते हो. सो हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस इज कंपल्सरी फॉर श्योर फॉर एवरी वन, आइदर गवर्नमेंट और यू पे फॉर योर सेल्फ और वट एवर, that we can discuss, but health insurance should be compulsory. Third, healthcare will be made a fundamental right if I have the power to do it. So, like other fundamental rights we have, healthcare should be a fundamental right for everyone. So,
Like
right to health
right
should
to
be
live.
passed. Yeah, right to live. So, right to education. So, right to health should be a fundamental right for all of us.
Uh, 3 lifestyle changes, because we emphasize so much on lifestyle and diet. 3 lifestyle changes that you would recommend people to go follow that.
So avoid sitting for long. So I hope your next episode will be standing up. We'll all be standing in your next episode. Walk and talk is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
So as I said, sugar, sitting, and smoking. These are 3 poisons. So don't sit for too long. Don't have any sugar intake. Humans are the only animals I know that can take sugar and stay healthy. हम अपने डॉगी को छोटा सा चीनी खिलाते हैं, उसको खुजली हो जाती है बेचारे को, बीमार पड़ जाते हैं वो. सो एनिमल्स को आप शुगर खिलाओ, सब बीमार पड़ जाते हैं वो. And smoking, definitely no for everyone. I think India should ban tobacco products completely. Try to stay healthy. Try to have as many colors in your plate as you would want in your life, right? अगर आप लाइफ को बिल्कुल सफ़ेद रखोगे, नीरस सी लगेगी ना. प्लेट में सफ़ेदी मत रखो बिल्कुल भी, except दही. Rest everything should be colorful. Should have lots of vegetables, salads, fruits, a lot of things in your table.
3 food one must have and 3 food one must avoid.
Must have food are fruits every day. So any kind of fruit have one help every day for sure. Must avoid processed foods. Don't eat anything that's made in a factory.
Not
Or-
even chips.
No, not especially not chips. No chips, no cold drinks.
Not
for
even
sure.
the chai and coffee.
This is not made in a factory.
The
This
coffee
is,
came from a factory in a pouch.
नहीं वो तो देखो naturally coffee pod से निकाला
The
वो
sugar
तो
was
आपने
there.
roast किया है बस. That you can roast at home as well. Sugar is in a factory. You should never have that. Sugar तो मैंने मना किया है आप.
So you had it with
No, I had without sugar.
without sugar.
Yes, I always have it without sugar. There's something that I learned long back when I was training to be a doctor. So we started as an initiative a thing called diabetes clinics. So because the government hospital OPDs are like really busy, line लगती है बेचारे, और diabetics old people होते थे usually पहले तो. They used to stand in line for a long time and they used to come fasting for their blood sugar test. Then they used to faint because of standing in line for a long time fasting. So we started diabetes clinics in the afternoon. हमने कहा अब आफ्टरनून में आया करो, अलग से हम चलाएंगे, ठीक है. सो गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल था, बट आवर हेड वॉज वेरी सपोर्टिव. ही सेड या लेट्स डू इट. And in a government hospital, when you do your OPD, it's not like people come one by one like a private clinics. Everybody is surrounding you, they're all standing on your head and you're seeing patients jaldi. You used to see more than 100 patients in every setting. So I used to tell everyone, हाँ फीकी चाय, जैसे अभी मैं सबको ज्ञान दे रहा हूँ, फीकी चाय पियो, शुगर मत लो, शुगर मत लो. So this old gentleman, rustic, गांव के जो लोग होते हैं, तो बैठे और बोले, अरे बेटा एक बात बता, तू सबने बोले जा रहा है चीनी मत पियो चाय में, तो हम फिर चाय पिए क्यों, हम गर्म पानी ना पी लें. तूने कभी पिया फीकी चाय, तेरे को पता कैसी लगती है. सो आई सेड नहीं, मैंने तो कभी नहीं पी. So जैसे आप पूछ रहे थे, सो आई सेड नहीं, मैंने नहीं पी, तो फिर क्यों बता रहा है सबको. आई वाज लाइक बात तो ठीक है. आई सेड आप 2 हफ्ते बाद आना दोबारा, मैं 2 हफ्ते फीकी चाय पी के देखूंगा, देन आई विल टेल यू वेदर पी सकते हैं कि नहीं.
No.
So I started Phiki Chai from that day, and I've never had Meethi Chai since. And now I cannot have Meethi Chai. If somebody gives me Meethi Chai, I will leave it.
Can't have a pastry or something?
Adaptation, and body adapts very quickly to whatever you want to do. See, you are happy without alcohol.
Yeah.
If you tell somebody who has alcohol at every party, they'll say party में जा क्यों रहे हो यार, वहाँ करना क्या है, I will stare at people, बोर हो जाऊंगा, बिना ड्रिंक के क्या करूँगा पार्टी में. They'll tell you that. How can you have enjoy at a party without drinks? Isn't that strange to you? Doesn't that sound
Very,
strange to you?
yeah.
So this is the same. I'm saying फीकी चाय पी सकते हो, it's sounding strange to you कि नहीं ऐसे कैसे पी सकता. But
That's
you
also
try
with
it.
non-veg, I
You
guess.
try it. Yeah, it's with everything. Your body is very adaptable. You tell your body anything, as
Okay.
long as your mind is convinced, the body will say, okay, I'll do it. ठीक है. बॉडी इज जस्ट अ व्हीकल. कैसे चला रहे हो आप, आपकी मर्जी. आप उसको रैशली चलाओ, तेज चलाओ, धीरे चलाओ, व्हीकल विल ओबे यू.
I'm a 21-day challenge, no sugar.
या
And then I'll come back and tell it to you.
awesome.
21 days.
Next podcast, yeah. Then you
Yes.
tell everyone फीकी चाय, आप मीठी क्यों पी रहे हो आप.
But one of my, reason in podcast is it goes viral, not mostly for what I speak. It's because of my emphasis on vegetarianism. And I'm a hardcore practicing vegetarian. I'm not saying that others don't eat, but by default, if you see when you are a vegetarian, there are health benefits.
Absolutely.
By the grace of God, I never had a pimple in my face. Never in my life.
Absolutely. And not just health benefits for you, for the planet as well.
Yeah.
So if today everyone in the world were to become a vegetarian, the global warming problem would be solved for the next 200
Very
years.
easily. And there are so many rich food that we have. They say protein nahi. I'm like, paneer khao, tofu khao, soya khao, veggies khao.
बिल्कुल.
And by default, red meat is bad. I think fish has some benefit. Eggs do. I don't know. I don't consume them again. But the red meat is by default very dangerous.
Yeah.
But
Most dangerous to your body as well as to the planet.
are you a vegetarian?
I try to be. I'm actually very non-fussy about food. So I eat to live. मुझे आप जो भी दे दो. See, I've lived in hostels my entire life.
All doctors have
MBBS,
this.
MD. So I was like, जो भी दे दो मैं खा लूँगा. ऐसा कुछ. I don't crave for anything. It's not like I'm craving for vegetarian food or non-vegetarian food. I won't say no to whatever you feed me as long as my stomach is full, and I don't eat too much, so it's okay. All my family is a vegetarian. My wife is a vegetarian. Both my kids are vegetarians. So at my house you usually won't find non-veg food ever. So that's good.
I'll be sending you every morning 5 reasons to be a vegetarian. That's what my podcast is known for these days.
Awesome.
Sir, would you be able to share us a story? Because during the pandemic, a lot of things happen. And you being a doctor, I only have the pandemic stories from the medical side. You being a doctor, your entire life has been that. One story that has changed you, impacted you, and has made you who you are today.
Oh, hundreds of them, like I told you the story about the Phiki chai. So I because I have a very community facing work, right? I'm in the community all the time. So a lot of things, but one thing, because you talked about COVID and we haven't talked about COVID at all, one thing that really, really struck me was when one of our doctors fell sick. And a lot of doctors were falling sick at that time. And it was the second wave, which was the scariest wave. And people were, just dropping like flies left, right, and center. You had no beds, no oxygen. Ambulances would be lined for half a kilometer outside your hospital, and you were helpless because you had no beds inside and no oxygen inside. So we had set up a 1,000 bed free hospital at Buradi at that time also, with 300 ICU beds. I think still the largest field ICU in the country. So we were doing all that. We were short of doctors, but luckily none of our doctors, backed out, saying that, oh, this is too scary for us. Everybody was on the ground. Especially, I like that story. One of our doctors, so he felt really sick and he was admitted in the hospital. And he told me that, you know, there are 16 people in this ward where I am. So you don't really need to come here. I'll do these rounds. I am sick, but I know, medicine because I'm a doctor. So you don't need to come and spend time here till the time I call you, because it's so hot anyways, and wearing PPE kits and taking them off. We would lose about 2 kilos of weight every time we came back off duty because we'd be sweating so much inside. So he said, I will treat these patients. I will take the rounds. Don't worry about it. He was himself sick on a COVID bed, really weak. But he said, no, don't worry about this ward. I got it. I will manage it. If it is a need, I will call you. Otherwise, don't even come here. So that kind of purpose in life, I think, is innate to all of us. We just don't get the platform to take it up, right? Like when we did Project Step 1, at its peak, there were 11,000 doctors volunteering on that platform doing telemedicine calls and everything, and nobody got even a single paisa of money. Nobody got a name. Nobody got any recognition. It was just amazing to see how those doctors were willing to be like call center employees, listening to rants of patients who had no medicines or who had no food. They were just listening to anger and trying to calm the patients down, and they would happily do it. I mean, you wouldn't expect doctors to behave in that way without even an iota of money or fame or name to it. So COVID was something that I can never forget. It changed all our lives completely. We lost a lot of people, but the faith in the innate goodness of people, I think, was reinforced 100 times during the COVID pandemic.
COVID pandemic. I remember that's how I also got in touch with you. And then India Care has been, when Arun Bothra sir started, I still remember that he dropping a WhatsApp text and was like, let's make a Telegram group and start something where we can help out people. That made me believe when I see Arun Bothra sir, when I look at you, when people are at a higher position, there's this proverb ki, the tree that has the most fruit is always the one touching the ground. The humbleness that you'll carry, the humility is the right word I would use. That shows ki जिन पे सबसे ज़्यादा knowledge होता है, the people who have so much to do, the one who are actually impacting the people around, are how humble you people are. I think that's my biggest takeaway from this entire podcast today is understanding the fact that everyone has a heart, and the heart is not always the one that's an organ. It's basically made of love, compassion, the ability to serve, and the intention to do something. And you have been a champion for that. I think you have been a role model for many people, especially at a time when the Arjikar incident and so many things have been happening, where the medical system is looked up to with a big question marks, with so many attacks on doctors. That there are doctors who are not just doctors by their profession, but by their heart, and they're not just treating bodies, they're treating souls. And I think it has been the best conversation that I had for a while with someone. And what an honor it is to have you with us. I'm very sure that if our audience, if any one of you have a question, I don't think you have to put it in the comment section. Go to Twitter, sir ka naam type karo na, you will find everything there. I have been someone who is very jealous of sir ka, professional portfolio. From being a shaving scholar to being in इतने सारे education, मेरे पास तो एक ही degree है. And then I look at sir's profile, I'm like, how did he balance through all this thing? Because doctors have a very hectic life. But beyond everything, in spite of all that pressure that he gets into, some cranky patients like me asking some really stupid questions, how he never loses his calmness. Be it be during the COVID time, be it be even sending him 200 pages ka report on WhatsApp. And maybe next time when you're talking to a doctor, you can always look at Sachin sir's face and understand, yaar, wo bhi to insaan hai na? And that can maybe your medicine for you, or maybe for your heart and soul. Thank you so much, sir, for being here with us. What a pleasure
Thank you
it
so
has
much,
been.
Namisha, for being so kind to me. I don't think I have anything much to be proud of. I'm a very small person. So I'm not a tree laden with fruits at all. मैं तो बिल्कुल ही खाली सूखा हुआ पेड़ हूँ, I feel. But I try my best, and thank you so much for being with India Cares. Thank you for what you do. I get inspired by you daily, and having been spoken of in the same breath as Arun Bothra sir is I think the biggest compliment to me. He is someone who we all look up to. He is someone who's done a lot. But you, Sabita, I think I get inspired by you people daily on what you do for the community. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe Desi Dialogues with Namisha. And sir, can you just give us one sentence? How was the entire podcast for you?
Oh, brilliant and amazing. I mean, it's my dream to be here. Desi podcast with the Desi Dialogues with Namisha. I think one of the biggest podcasts to be in. So, really, really happy to be here and really happy to meet you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, everyone. And please put up all your questions, whatever you have. And this time, I haven't imposed vegetarianism on anyone. Until then, stay healthy, stay fit, and take care of your mental health. Take care.